Hey guys, how's it going? It is Tuesday evening and we are back with another video. It is time for our defensive video for U32. Now I know we've got U32 coming up tomorrow, and I know that I've had a lot of people asking me what in the world to use with these rooms that we have. So I'm going to go over with you real quick what I'm using. Obviously, this is going to be completely up to you what you use. However, I'm going to go over what I'm doing and why, and hopefully that will give you guys an idea based off of your rosters, kind of what my strategy is, and hopefully maybe that can help give you some ideas of what will work good for you. So let's jump into the first room. We're going to go over the room rules. First room, take a moment, lower on offense and defense, all characters. Lower their focus by 5,000% and damage by 50% for any non-Mephisto character that takes a turn before any character on defense. Now, in this room, I feel like we had this room before. I can't really remember. I feel like it might have been a room 6 when the Starjammers first came out, but I really don't remember. It kind of sounds familiar. It kind of doesn't. Now, with that being said, kind of the way that I'm looking at this room is I want to go heavy in here. I want the person on offense to bring in a really big team, or at least have to do a couple of sacks before bringing in a big team. And most likely, they're going to want to bring in something slow, okay? Because they're going to want the defense to go before they go so that they won't have all of their focus at 5,000% down and their damage down by 50%. Now, with that being said, here's what I'm bringing in here. Very simply, I'm bringing in Professor X. I'm bringing in Null because in the room rules, this is not going to affect Mephisto. So my guess is most people are going to be bringing Mephisto in here on offense against this room. So I definitely want to have Null on defense to combat Mephisto being on offense. Obviously, we want to have a taunt. My favorite taunter is Black Knight, without a doubt. The goal here is their team is going to be going first, hopefully. They're not going to be landing any debuffs because of the focus issue, and Black Knight is going to be retaliating and getting a bunch of damage out there while they're going through that struggle of getting any debuffs and 50% less damage. Now, obviously, we've got Emma in here to control speed, and Gore to help speed up Null, and vice versa. So that's my manner of thinking. Now, keep in mind, this stuff can shift right after the first round, because this is kind of a guess for me, but I feel like this is going to be a pretty good starting point. Now, if you do not have Professor X, you might want to bring Odin in this room, or I even thought about putting Shadow King in Professor X's place if I did not have Professor X. Now, in the next room, Sinisters Gambit. This one's going to be very interesting because there's a lot about this room that we don't know. Okay? On offense and defense, all characters. On spawn, your character with the highest health will clone the enemy character with the highest attack. So, with that being said, this is going to happen on spawn. Okay? Now, I'm assuming this means that my character with the highest health is going to clone the enemy character with the highest damage and put him on my side of the playing field. But again, it's not super clear exactly how that's going to happen or how that's going to work. With that, here's my manner of thinking in here. I'm going to bring in Odin, okay, because I want to have big damage in this room. Odin is going to be my highest health tune, so he's going to be cloning the highest damage tune on the other side, okay? I'm bringing in the 3-piece Illuminati just to make the room somewhat challenging, and I'm bringing in Kestrel to eliminate their capability to clone anyone from our side of the field. So obviously Odin is going to be the highest damage on my side. Kestrel should stop them from cloning my Odin. And that is why I'm putting her on defense. Now, with that being said, if you don't have Odin on available because you don't have Professor X and you may have chose to use him in room 1, the sky's really the limit. I mean, I'm personally not going to be using Mephisto on defense. I want to have access to Mephisto on offense. But, I mean, to be totally straightforward, even though I'm keeping them for offense, I think this would be a really good room for a curse. Okay, I'm fixing this up, okay? I've been calling them accursed forever. I seem to be the only one, so I'm going to go with the fact I'm pronouncing it wrong. So, you could bring accursed in this room if you wanted to. Again, I think they would do very well. However, I'm going to be keeping them on offense, so that's why I'm not bringing them in here. Now, room 3. This one's going to be an interesting one, okay? And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, my strategy may not work because I've never participated in a Crucible that had any type of room rule like this. I don't know if this is something that's been available in the past. But it is spiritual energy on offense and defense. All characters. Anytime a character gains energy from an active ability, they gain +1 extra energy. Okay? Very simply, what that means is the tunes that gain energy through passives, they're not going to work here. Okay? So, you've got Victoria Hand that hands out energy through her passive. Who else do you have? Right off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of who else you have that hands out. I think the Night Stalkers do that as well through their passive. I think you also have Thanos in-game who hands out energy through his passive if exposed characters get attacked. So those types of tunes are not going to be generating energy in here. With that being said, the next section is what I'm going to be focusing on. When an enemy character dies, ally characters gain +1 ability energy. So the way I'm reading this is if one of my characters die, the rest of my characters are going to gain +1 ability energy. Now again, I could be reading that wrong. It could be if one of my characters die, then the other side all get energy. But that's how I'm reading it, and that's how I'm setting this room up to assume that I'm correct in the way I'm reading this. And then the last thing, ultimate abilities cost 3 more ability energy. Okay. This is also going to play into this in how my strategy is going to work in this room. Okay. So let's jump in here and look at what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm bringing in Gladiator for a pre-taunt. I'm bringing in Omega Red. I'm bringing in Phoenix. Okay. Here's the thing. Omega Red is devastating with his ultimate. Okay. However, he's not going to be starting with his ultimate because it requires +3 ability energy. So, my way of thinking is I'm bringing in Hela and I'm bringing in Zombie Iron Man. Hela is going to spawn the Gregs, who die very easy, and Zombie Iron Man also dies pretty easy and will respawn every time as long as Hela is alive. So my thought process is Gladiator's tanky, Omega Red and Phoenix are both very tanky. Plus, if they kill Phoenix, it should technically count as a death. She's going to come back. However, that will also give out ability energy. So, my thought process is this should ramp up Omega Red to his ultimate fairly quickly. So, that's my hope. I don't know how it's going to turn out. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's kind of what I'm going for in this room. I don't know if that's going to be the greatest strategy, but it seems like a fun one and something that I definitely want to toy around with, at least during the first round. So with that being said, guys, let me know down in the comments, what are you guys thinking? Do you think I'm insane for my reasoning on the way that I'm setting up some of these rooms? Are you thinking about doing it the same way? Let me know what your thoughts are, because I think there's a possibility that, like, early on, I may have played in this room because it sounds familiar, but I have not played in this room or this room before. So this is going to be pretty fun. Obviously, 5 days of Crucible is freaking awesome. I'm stoked about that. Starting Crucible on Wednesday instead of Friday. Super happy about that. Plus, if we have a good run in the U32, we could move into Grand Masters this weekend, and that will be amazing. I'm super excited about that. So, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. If you got some value from this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you have not. Slap that bell around so you get notified when I drop a new video. And if you think some of your friends or alliance mates could gain some value from this video, make sure you share it with them. And until the next video, guys, you know the drill. Stay positive and enjoy the game. And also, good luck in U32, guys.